So, what are the differences? Um, so, so to develop a web pages or web application, we have CGA, Common Gateway Interface Programming, PHP, ASP, Active Server Page. So after that, we have introduced servlets. After servlets only JSP has been introduced. So history of JSP. So why JSP has been introduced even already servlet programming is there. So the main reason is, see, when you have PHP, when you see PHP or ASP, active server page, they the coding is done with the help of some. It is a tag based coding, tag based programming. See, whatever everywhere, whatever the thing we want to do, we are going to do with the help of some tags, like in HTML. Okay, in HTML, to get to some specific format for our text, we are going to use different types of text. In the similar way, PHP and ASP will use the same tag based concept for creating a server side programming. But whereas when we have when with the introduction of servlets, it is quite different. Here we need to write a Java program. We need to write a Java program. The entire code we have to write in the Java program. And also, if you want to send a response as an HTML, that HTML code is also need to be write in the in out.println methods only. Okay, so it is becoming very difficult, and also it has so many benefits when compared with other JSP and PHP. But the users, when servlets are introduced, there is no most of the people are not using servlets. Why? Because they are habituated with PHP and ASP. Then this Sun Microsystem has start thinking, why we are not, our serverlet program is not that much good. Why people are not at all using our server? So they will become some survey and find out the reason. Then they will start. They will think that we also need to develop one tag-based server-side programming language, and this tag-based server-side programming language is nothing but Java server pages. Okay, so here in how we are going the JSP files are going to be stored with the extension dot JSP, and we can write the Java code inside an HTML file by using some JSP tags. And in the coming session, we are going to discuss about different types of JSP tags and elements that are used for different purpose. Okay, so whatever may be the things we are going to do with the servlet, the same thing can able to do with the JSP also, Java server page. Okay, so coming to the problem with servlets. What are the problem with servlets? So these are the some of the problems with the servlet. The processing request and generating response both are handled by the single Java servlet class only. So that means whatever may be the request and whatever may be the response generated are both are handled by a single Java servlet class only. Okay. So Java is required to maintain application information about all aspects. We need Java engine. And any modification are done in application, entire servlet class is need to be recompiled. So when we done any modification in the application, that entire servlet class need to be recompiled. And servlets are very good for normal application and difficult for complex business logic. So to work with the complex business logic, servlets are not good. And also it is mandatory to update the web.xml file in servlets. So we are dealing with servlet programming. Whenever we are creating a servlet program, we need to update the in web.xml file also. Okay, these are the some of the problems with servlets. Okay, so coming to the JSP architecture, we'll come on this topic in coming class, anatomy of a JSP page. Okay, so JSP architecture, how the JSP architecture will be. So to process this JSP, JSP, we need in the web server we need one JSP engine. That is what this JSP engine is called, is used. It is a container for to process JSP pages. Okay, to process JSP pages in web server we need a JSP engine. So what this JSP engine is going to do? The JSP container is responsible for intercepting request for JSP. So this JSP container is responsible for intercepting request for JSP. It is going to take the requests that are getting for JSP page. Then a JSP container work with the web server to provide the runtime environment and other service of a JSP needed. So here JSP container will take the responsibility for providing the runtime environment and other all services for JSP. No, it is known how to understand the special elements that are part of a JSP. This JSP container will know what are the special elements that are there in the JSP, Java server page. So coming to this diagram, so this diagram show the position of where the JSP container is available in web server and JSP files in an web application. So for example, here client is giving some request to the JSP page. So all the JSP pages are available here. Okay, in a web server. Okay, in a web server, all the way, I mean at the bottom of the web server they are going to be stored. Okay, now you already know, sir, how this JSP is going to be give the servlet that request and how it is going to be give response means this JSP container will translate JSP pages into Java code. Okay, then this Java code is going to be compiled and it is going to generate the class file. Then again this class file is going to be maintained by the servlet container. Okay, so the next diagram will explain so how this we are see before going to see how a JSP is going to be processed. Okay, so the following steps explain how the web server creates the web pages using JSP. So these are the following steps that are that are going to be done by a web server when we are going to create a web page using JSP. So as with normal page, your browser sends an HTML request to the web server. Okay. So normal HTML page will send an HTTP request to the web browser, web server. So the web server, what the web server will do? The web server will recognize that HTTP request is for JSP page. Okay, based on see in HTML, there in the action part instead of URL we are going to use the JSP file name. Okay, when we are going to the further class you will know in detail about that one. So when we are creating a form, in the form tag in under action instead of URL we are going to give the JSP file page name. Okay, so whenever we click on the submit button, that particular action will going to take place and that particular action so is going to be sent in the form of a HTTP request to the web server. Then that web server recognize that the HTTP request is for JSP page and it will forward that request to JSP engine. So this is done by using the URL or JSP page which is ends with JSP or instead of HTML. Okay, so this is that only I told. This is done by using URL. You can give URL or JSP page. Okay, which ends with JSP, okay, instead of from HTML. Now, what the engine will do is this JSP engine loads the JSP base from the disk and convert it into a servlet content. See carefully that JSP page from the disk and it loads the JSP engine will loads the JSP page from the disk. After loading the JSP page from the disk, it converts it into servlet content. So this conversion is very simple, which all template text is converted to println statements, and all JSP uh, elements are converted into Java code. So in our JSP page, all the HTML, okay, all template text is nothing but normal text or whatever may be the HTML text are going to be converted to println statements, and all JSP elements are converted into Java code. In a given JSP page, all the simple text is going to be converted into a println statements, and all JSP elements are converted into Java code. This code implement the corresponding dynamic behavior of the page. How this code is going? So it is going to do dynamic behavior of the page. The JSP engine compile. So here, who is compiling? The JSP engine compiles the servlet into an executable class and forward the original request to the servlet engine. Be careful. So here, whenever a request, HTTP request is come, the web server receive that web request, HTTP request, and the web server recognizes this as JSP page, and then it is forward to JSP engine. This JSP engine will convert this JSP page into servlet context. All the normal text are converted into println statement, and all JSP elements are converted into Java code. And okay, and this JSP engine compile the servlet into an executable class. So this JSP engine itself will convert the servlet content into an executable class file and forward the original request to the servlet engine. So after converting this servlet JSP engine, the servlet into a is class file, this class file is forward to the servlet engine to request the service. Okay, a part of the web server called servlet engine load the servlet class and execute it. So this web server, what it will do? The web server, the web server call the servlet engine, load the servlet class and execute it. During execution, and the servlet produce an output in HTML format. The output is further passed on to web server by the servlet engine inside a HTTP response. Then what the web server will do? Web server forward the HTTP response to your browser in terms of static HTML content. Then finally, what the web browser will handle the dynamically generated inside the HTTP response exactly as it was a static page. So this browser will handle the response that is given by the HTML and that content that are given, and it is going to be stored in the browser. These are the steps that are involved in processing a web page using Java server page. Okay. Now all the above mentioned steps can be seen in following diagrams. Okay. So this diagram will help uh, tell you um, how they see so when an HTML submit button is click, the request for JSP page. So let us say on clicking, it need to invoke action is hello.jsp. So this is the hello.jsp file, and it is going to be loaded. And so what it will do, it will translate, it will going to do some translation phase. So this JSP file is going to be translated into servlet source code with the extension of .java file. It is going to be done as background. You are not able to see this one. After translating the JSP page into Java page, then this Java page is compiled, okay, to create a class file. And this created class file is going to be compiled or a servlet, okay. So the servlet compiles the dot class file and process the HTTP request and send the HTTP response to the browser, to the client. So this, the following is the JSP syntax, okay. Here we are going to use the concept scriptlet, okay. So here whatever may be the code we are going to do, we are going to store inside this tag, okay, JavaScript tag, okay. So as this one is called as scriptlet, each and every tag will have some name, okay. So scriptlet is a can contain any number of Java language statements. So inside a scriptlet, it may have n number of Java language statements and variables or method declaration or expression that are valid in the page script language. So the expression that are valid as exception sheets are going to be stored. Okay. Now the syntax for scriptlet is uh, greater than symbol, less than symbol, percentage, whatever be the code that is there inside that one, and closing that again one percentage symbol and closing the tag. Okay. So whatever the content that is stored, okay, whatever may the code that is, whatever may the code that is present here inside this the block, then this one is called as a uh, scriptlet code. Okay. So we can write this XML equivalent of the above syntax by using this syntax. Okay. If you want to do any equivalent scriptlet code in XML file, we need to do, we are going to do using these two tags. Okay. This one is for HTML. Okay. This one is for XML. Okay. So this one is for HTML and this one is for XML. Okay. We'll see a sample code. Okay. So what we are going to do, any text, HTML tags or JSP elements you write must be outside the scriptlet. Okay. So if whatever the text we want and HTML tags or JSP elements, you must be outside the scriptlet. Okay. Okay. JSP elements also should be outside the scriptlet. See, this is the example for a JSP file. See, JSP file page will looks like an HTML code, but only the difference is it will have that JSP tags. Okay. See, what is the JSP tag here? This one is the JSP tag here. If it is not, if this one is not there, then this one will be a normal HTML file. As it is there, then it will be a JSP page. Okay. This is an JSP page. What we are going to do, we are going to get the IP address of our personal computer. So what we are going to do, we are creating one HTML tag, one head tag, it's a title tag, okay, hello world. Inside the body, see, I already told whatever may be the HTML tag that should be kept outside the scriptlet. See, this is the scriptlet code. We are keeping all the text. Hello world is on some text, and these all are HTML tags. All are kept outside the scriptlet, and inside the scriptlet we are going to place some Java code. What is that Java code is going to be do? It is going to print something what is that it is going to print? It is going to print your IP address is so and so, and this one is concatenation, and this one will retrieve the IP address of our particular system. This method, see how we are going to pass this request. We are going to pass the request, and what is the method we are going to use? We are going to use get remote address. Okay, so this is the output of that uh, JSP page. Okay, see here, if you observe, the extension is Java JSP. Okay, this is the output of that one particular address. Okay, IP address of that particular system. See, any doubts still now? ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? Okay, wait, I'm going to take now coming to the next tab. So this is scriptlet. Previously you have done, see the scriptlet example. Now declaration. So how we are going to do a declaration in Java server page. So to give some declaration, we are going to use the following syntax. Okay. So if any scriptlet is started with this exclamatory, then that particular code is going to be treated as the JSP declaration. So a declaration declare one or more variables and also methods that can be used in Java code later in the JSP file. Okay, if you want to use some variables inside your scriptlet or Java code, then such additional variables, if you want some additional variables, that variables is going to be declared by using JSP declaration. How this declaration is going to be done is, this declaration is going to be done in by using this following syntax, and each variable is separated by a semicolon. So you must declare the variables or method before you use it in the JSP file. So if you want to use them in a JSP file, then that the variables must be declared and so on. So this is the syntax for HTML. Okay. So this is the syntax for XML. If you want to declare some variable in XML, we are going to use this following JSP colon declaration, the code what we want, and closing tag of JSP colon declaration. And these are the some of the examples how we can able to declare a variable or variables and methods inside a Java space. Okay, so this one is for single variable declaration. This one is for multiple variable declaration, and this one is used for declaring a function. So you know already in Java, sometimes we need to declare some variables and sometimes we need to declare the functions. So in a similar way, if you want to declare the variables and functions in JSP, we need to use this JSP declaration tag. Okay, how we are going to do that JSP declaration? By using this, in this way we are going to do the declaration. Okay, now expression. Okay, if you want to do some expression, we are going to use the this syntax. Okay, so a JSP expression element, it is an another element. Expression is another element that contains a scripting language expression that is evaluated and so that is that expression is converted into string and inserted. It is where it is inserting, where the expression is appear, wherever the expression is appear in that particular place, that it is going to be inserted. So the value of an expression is converted string. You can use an expression within a line of text or whether or not it is tagged with HTML in a JSP file. So the expression that is returning is in the form of an string, so it can be used as an expression inside inside a text or inside uh, inside as line of text, but it is not tagged with HTML in a JSP. Okay, it should not be tagged in a. So this expression element may contain any expression that is valid according to Java language specification, but you cannot use semicolon to the end of an expression. That means when we write any expression, for example, if you here, if you want to get a form element, so is equal to request dot get parameter. After get parameter, we should not use any semicolon. So in expressions, we should not use semicolon. If an expression having any semicolon, then it is an invalid expression. Then it is going to give some error. Okay. So this is an example for expression. Okay. See what we are going to do. We are finding the today date. Okay. And that is going to be stored in by using JSP element. Here, what is the method? What is, see, as expression is equal to, you already know this one. Okay. New Java dot util dot date will give the current date. Okay, current date, and we are going to convert it into local string, that is local format, how the local computer system is going to do. This is the output of that particular JSP code. Okay, so